lot of questions from everybody, but I have one question for both of you.
All right.
You guys have worked together for over 40 years now.
Yep.
Do you remember, each of you, do you remember the first day you guys met?
No, I don't.
No, not really.
That was too long ago.
I think we were all too excited to have a new cast member, two new cast members, both Emilio Delgado as Luis and Sonia Manzano as Maria. So that was a wonderful new addition.
That was back in 19...
I would say 69, 70, 71 probably. Third year of the show.
Some people don't know about that.
69, 70, 71, yeah.
72.
It's been some wonderful years. Does anybody have a question to start us off?
Anybody here seen Sesame Street growing up?
Yes.
We call you our Sesame Seeds.
Yeah.
Alumni.
Sprouted up like crazy.
Yeah, no, speak into it, though, for the microphone, for the camera.
I'm sorry, what's the name?
William.
Development, and also, did you know, like, immediately when you guys started filming Sesame Street that you guys were onto something, like, something that was going to carry on in just society, like, worldwide famed, and just, like, something that carries on, even to this day, that are still, you know, children are watching and growing up on Sesame Street?
I'll go because I was 2 years ahead of him. I had no intention of being involved, although I did, prior to that, while I was getting a master's degree at Manhattan School of Music in New York City, where I met my wife, I was teaching music for 2 years in a private boys' school, so I had some teaching experience as well as a lot of performing prior to that. But after that, and I'll cut to the quick on this, I got lucky in Japan, and I made 9 trips to Japan as a solo performer.
It was a heartthrob in Japan.
We had a big, some of you probably may or may have never heard. That was a big show on NBC, and the NHK.
Switched out, put it up, we'll show you, Yeah. Switched out, put it up, we'll show you. Took a bite, and so they called a dentist. A dentist came in a shiny black.
That's what I was hoping to do when I came back to the States after 3 years and 9 trips. So I bumped into a guy going to Michigan with, and he said he just left the Captain Kangaroo show where he was a writer and a producer.
Look at that!
He said, I'm getting involved in a new kids show. Do you think you'd be interested in auditioning? And I said, not in the least. Because I had this teenage image of myself here, but by then the Beatles had invaded, and that never ever would have worked. But a couple of months later, somebody called, and I was somebody else, not my friend, and he said, we'd like you to come in and take a look. We've got a guy by the name of Jim Henson. I said, who's that? He's got Muppets. What are they? I knew nothing about any of that. And they said, because we'd like to take a look. So I went in and I saw 5 minutes or less of Muppets animation, film, and I thought, never mind those teenagers, I want to do this. So from that moment on, I definitely wanted to do the show, and turned out okay. 45 years.
But we never knew, neither one of us knew that it was going to go on and on and on.
Oh gosh, no. Is even Joan Cooney, whose brainchild it was 2 years prior to the first show going on in 69, they had full 2 years worth of research from very, very bright people in every walk of life, psychiatrists, psychologists, and so forth. And even she said, well, we'll give it a try for a year and see how it goes. Here we are, 45 years later, in about 130 countries and in about 30 or 40 foreign co-productions. So it worked out as a pretty good little show.
Yeah, I know. I just remember Andy Epstein. He was our musical director for a while, and he always used to say, this is an experimental show, and we're going to keep experimenting until we get it right. But I had no idea when I got the job. I was an actor. Originally, I'm from California, so I started out working out there in television and theater and what have you. And I had been a struggling actor for about 9-10 years in Hollywood, you know, nothing happening. And so one day I got a call from New York. They said, Mr. Delgado, we'd like to know if you'd like to speak with our executive producer. He's going to Los Angeles and would like to interview you for our show, Sesame Street. I had no idea what that show was. I had never watched it before, but I was looking at my last unemployment check. I had just put a quarter of gas into my car, and I thought, a job, yeah, okay, of course. So I met with them, you know, and the executive producer had come out, and then interviewed. I didn't audition, didn't sing, didn't dance, didn't do anything. And then about a month later, the executive director producer came out, and then he asked me, "Do you speak Spanish?"
Yes, of course.
And they said, "Can you dance?" Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Can you play guitar?
Can you play guitar? Can you
That's
sing?
it. Okay.
Yeah, okay, terrific. He says, "Would you shave off your mustache?" Because at that time, I had a mustache. So would you shave off your mustache? And I said,
"Oh, shave off my
mustache. Just give me a job."
Okay, and it was call for listener 500 to 300. That's it. Okay. That was like this. That was also like Empire Today, and it's like Empire Today, and Empire Carpet, and it was like cultural shot.
And when did I know? It was going to last a year, 2 years at the most. You know, I was an actor. I had a job. Who knows how long it's going to last?
And on 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much.
I think it's not so much.
Definitely cemented a legacy. You guys are just, you know, like I said, I talked to you a little bit the other day about it. Like now, my kids are now watching Sesame, and just like it's crazy to think like it's like now like what 3 or 4 generations now of probably families that watch Sesame Street with their kids. So thank you guys.
Yep.
You're welcome. Of course.
Thank you.
I was wondering if there was some guests to stand up.
Actually, through
It
Sesame.
was children's television workshop
Yeah.
at that time.
And Nickelodeon had a number of good shows. I don't know them off the top of my head, but PBS now has really created a whole lineup. And
And
we've
then it
got,
was an electric company.
yeah.
You.
Hey, you!
Oh, yeah. With Rita Moreno. We just as a PS, not your question, but Sonia Manzano was just awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award with the Emmys. She was a wonderful actress, came to us from Carnegie Mellon with Godspell that came to Broadway, and that's where they found her. And she's also was one of our principal writers for many, many years. And she now has she has a wonderful book out called Becoming Maria, I think it is.
Becoming Maria, which is her
wonderful book.
biography.
And it's her whole biography growing up in a tough part of the Bronx. And now she has a couple of children's books, and somebody just told me she's been commissioned for 4 or 5 more books. So I started this for some reason. What was the question?
And favorite characters too, besides your favorite show, the favorite other shows
Yeah.
besides Sesame Street, and your favorite characters like Ernie or Bert or Cookie Monster.
But I love Grover, especially as a waiter. I am sorry. He comes out and he drops the food and he's, it is a wonderful choice, but that's the last one we had. It was great.
He was a very lovable character.
Yeah.
I always loved Big Bird. I mean,
Yeah.
because Big Bird to me was that 5-year-old child that we were trying to reach. So with everything that we did, and just Carol Spinney's personality as Big Bird. I mean, he really became that 5-year-old. That innocence and that.
And he changed. Originally he was meant to be sort of a dumb, stupid bird, and he was always banging into the crosspiece, getting into his nest and so forth. And I think about the end of the first year, he talked to John. He said, this isn't the right character for this bird. He also had sort of a silly-looking head. They fixed that up after the first year. It was like it had been in a vice, and they've made it much more beautiful. But he said, I think the kids are going to relate very strongly to this character, and we need to change his disposition,
Yeah, and then
right?
that's when Carol, started to change it from a dumb bird to this 5-year-old, and then one day he just came up with a voice, and then there it was. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the 5-year-old.
There was a doll bird there, and so he said, "Oh, hi, Jimmy." And the kid's eyes goes like this. He says, "I hope you're having a good day." And this, and the kid's, and he's talking back and forth for a few sentences, and all of a sudden he sees his mother coming, anything.
It's just about like
So
this
he
is
just scrammed and beat it, but he said, kid probably said, "Mommy, he's talking to me," Yeah, sure he is.
But Thomas
Poor
wants to
kid.
keep all the fun to himself.
But
No, thank you. He
he's
goes,
got a wicked
I
sense
can
of
do it
humor.
all on my own.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We should have time for 2 final questions. Just hang on a second. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. No, I'm on stage.
He's taking a
Video.
call.
Sorry.
Sorry.
For New York.
Okay.
Oh,
For Bob.
delivery for Bobograph. The delivery for Bobograph.
Delivery here?
Yeah,
right
put it in
here.
the middle.
Why, how could that
Hey.
be? Oh my goodness!
Hey man, it's Killer Rob.
Right that way, right through the door. How about a big hand for all everybody?
The robots. The robots. All right, man. Hey.
Was this a UPS or a FedEx delivery? Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Sorry it took us so long. It only was like 3 months in post, but we got it here. You guys enjoy the donuts.
We will. We'll pass them on. How about a big hand for all everybody?
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Mr. Emilio Delgado, Mr. Bob McGrath.
Thanks.
Thank you so
coming
much
out,
for
everybody.
coming out for
Thank
Florida
you.
Supercon.